Uh, yes. Okay. So you already stopped sharing. Can I share my screen?
Yeah, please.
It's still showing that you shared your screen. So you need to stop, doctor.
I'm stopping my sharing.
Mhm. So, Assalamu alaikum, all of you. Good evening and Ramadan Kareem. Today, the topic which I am going to discuss about how to improve the articles acceptance rate and the quality and publication ethics in research. So, this topic is very relevant nowadays because research is one of the most important part in our academics. And it is rightly said, like if you want to reach to the level of academics, you need to go with the research. So this is one of the most important part, but most of the researcher and especially the early researcher, those who are new in the research field, they have always a questions like how to publish the research paper, where to publish the research paper, what ethical points we need to keep in our mind, and how to increase the acceptance rate of our research paper. So today I'm going to discuss about all those points related to the acceptance, quality, publication ethics, right? I will show you about some live examples also where you can publish, how you can identify that which journals are good, which journals are not good. I will share some website address also which you can note and you can use for your future references if you want to consult related to the plagiarism issues, copyright issues, or if you want to find out which journal is better for your research paper. So all those things I'm going to cover today, and you can write those website also. You can use those website also for your referencing. So the point here, writing is an art, but publishing is a business. It is rightly said that when we are writing a research paper, we put a lot of efforts in writing a research paper. Especially your research paper communicate a lot of things to the readers. A lot of things written in your research paper about the abstract, your findings, your recommendations, your research methodology, your conclusions. So when you are writing your research papers, when you are writing your articles, you put all your efforts in writing each and every aspects of your research paper. This is very true. But from the point of view of publisher side, it is completely a business for them. They are least bothered about your research, your ideas, and your topics. They are completely focusing on their profit and loss motives. Profit and loss motives means if your topic is relevant to the present scenario, or if your topic having a readership into the market, they will accept your research paper. The second point is what? Sometimes, if the readership is not there, but your articles are very good written or very new innovative ideas are there, but the people are not ready to read those kind of concept, then the publishers are not publishing. So these are the two different areas you need to understand, and don't feel demotivated and demoralized if the publishers are not going to publish your research paper. The point is what? Writing is completely different. Keep writing your research papers and articles, but publishing is different prospect. So from the publisher point of view, the main focus for them is business, the profit. And from the article researcher point of view, it is completely written as a research authors or the article reviewer. Now there are some facts, and those facts we need to discuss here. Like approximately 225,000 researchers join the research community each year. And this data we can confirm in previous last 2-3 years, especially the time of during pandemic, we noticed that almost 300,000 researchers join every year as a in a research community. But out of those, 45% articles return to the authors without even reaching to editor-in-chief. What was the reason? It was not a reason that the research papers are not good or the articles having some issues. No, it is not like that. The problem is what sometimes the research papers are incomplete information given over there. Incomplete information means the information about the authors, the information about the author's recognition, like from which university they belong, or the detail about the authors. Sometimes it is hidden that how many authors contributed in the research paper. So because of those minor information, the paper will not be reached to the editorial board and it is out from the deaths. Now, this research paper, we cannot say that these research papers are not good. Maybe the research topics will be good, the research contents can be a good, but because of lack of information about the authors and their belongingness, these research articles are written from the editor-in-chief desk. Of the 55 that reach to the editor-in-chief, between 30% and 50% of all research papers end up as desk reject. They do not even reach to peer stage. Sometimes what happens, the research papers are good, but the point is what you need to understand. The editors-in-chief are well qualified, well known, they understand the paper so well, but they are looking the papers from the business perspective. If you are talking about your own perspective, you have more knowledge about the topic because that topic is written by you. You are the author of your research paper. But the point is what? If you are not able to communicate your research in a proper manner in your research paper, it automatically out from the publisher side. The point is like sometimes you want to convey some research methodology, but it is not properly written in your research paper. Your abstract is one of the most important point where the authors need to focus more because editor-in-chief will definitely see your abstract first and then they will check your recommendations and findings and conclusion. So the way you need to write your abstract, it will communicate all story about your research. So it must be designed in a manner which can communicate properly to the publishers or the editor-in-chief that what you want to communicate and on what topic you want to communicate and what you want to prove in your research, right? The next point is what? Over 60% of the articles published by high impact journal do not contribute their impact factor. What does it mean? Like sometimes the authors want to publish a research paper, but it is very, the high impact journal means what? Impact journals having their own charms, no doubt, but it may be different perspective, like under which category your authorship belongs, for what you want to publish your research paper. So if you are an early researcher and you want to get fast result, so the high impact factor journals are not good for you. High impact journal factors will take more time to publish the paper. And generally, high impact factor journals are recommended to those authors, those who are well settled in the research field. They already published number of papers and they are not in a rush to publish their paper. So they can wait for their results. But for the early researchers, those who enter into the research field and they want to get their results fast, So it is always advisable that it's better not to go for the high impact journals. Though they have their own charms, high impact journals are very good, but still it is not going to solve out your purpose. So it's better to try to other kind of journals. How long does publishing will take time? Most of the researchers and authors are asking that actually how much time it will take to publish the research paper. So in general, this is the procedure when we are sending our research paper to any publishing authorities or publishing houses, it will take time. If the authors are thinking that they can publish their research paper within 15 days or within a 1 week or 2 week, it will not solve their purpose, because these kind of things can be a trap for the authors. And there are many predators, and cloned journals are available in the market, and they are looking, especially those kind of authors and researchers, those who are looking to publish their research paper in hurry. So don't show your hurriness, and you need to understand what is exactly the process of publishing. So the process of publishing says that the 2 weeks will take for desk review. When we are submitting our research paper, it will take 2 weeks. 2 weeks means what? They will check about the authorship, their recognition, their references, their topics, all the minor details. These details are not related to your research paper. These details related to your authorship. How many authors are there in the research paper? Is there any conflict between the authors? Are they confirmed that they want to remain in this research paper? So these time will take at least 2 weeks. After that, once it is over, they will invite the reviewers for it will take another 4 to 2 to 1 week. 1 to 2 week it will take when the publishers are inviting the reviewers related to your research field. Some people are researching on science, especially related to, for example, forensic science. So the publishers will try to find out the reviewers, those who are related to the forensic science. Some authors are writing the research paper related to the accounting and finance field, so they need to find out the reviewers related to the accounting and finance field. So inviting reviewers and finding reviewers will also take 1 to 2 weeks. Under review, again, it will take 6 to 8 weeks. Once the reviewer find out by the publishers, and sometimes you yourself suggest some reviewers from your colleagues, from your offices, or from your universities and colleges. So whatever it will take time, after that, the reviewer will take 6 to 8 weeks. Almost 8 weeks will be taken by the reviewer to review your research papers. After that, once they will submit, the reviewers submit their report to the editor-chief, they will assess it, and they will take further 2 weeks for the final assessment of their impact. Whatever the comments of the reviewer, they will notice it, and accordingly, sometimes they will ask to the authors and the researcher to review your paper, to fulfill those comments, try to change the topics or whatever is there written by the reviewers. So according to the comments of the reviewer, the editor-in-chief will ask to the authors to do some minor changes in your research paper. So ideally, it will take for the submission to review feedback 3 to 4 months. Generally, in common, it will take 3 to 4 months to publish a research paper. And once accepted, paper should ideally be published within 3 months. So once your paper will accepted, it will take minimum 3 months and maximum 4 months. After 4 months, like for example, you are submitting your research paper in any journal and they are not responding. After a first response, they stop responding you. They are not telling you about that what is the feedback of the reviewer, and you keep waiting for 6 to 8 weeks, and then it will pass to 2 to 3 months, then there is no point to keep your paper in that journal. You simply write an email to the publisher that you don't want to keep your research paper in that journal and you want to withdraw it. Because if you try your paper to publish in some another journal and you already submitted in the previous one, so again it will be a problem for you. So first you need to write an email to the publisher that it is already 3 to 4 months and I have not received any written confirmation or the feedback from your side related to my research paper. So I want to withdraw my research paper and I will try to publish somewhere else. In this way, you cannot be, means your time will not waste and you can publish your research paper in other journal. But waiting at least 3 to 4 months needed for specifically if you want to publish your research paper in any Scopus indexed journal or Web of Science or ABDC journal, like high reputed indexing, if you want to publish over there, then definitely you need to wait at least 3 to 4 months. Because when we are writing a research paper, it will take a lot of time. You cannot write a research paper within a 1 day. You cannot write a research paper within a 1 month. It will take time. Sometimes you can notice that you put the heading of your research paper, and when you start writing your research paper, number of times you keep changing the headings or the topics or the headline. The reason is what? The more you engrossed in your research paper, the more you will find the errors, the more you will find the topics need to change and amend. So in that case, it is very natural that you keep changing your topics again and again, you keep changing your headings again and again, and then you finally submit your research paper to the journal. So the point is what? When you took lot of time for writing your research paper, then why you are showing hurriness to publish your research paper? Because the predators are waiting for these kind of authors. They are waiting for you that you show your hurriness, you show your rush, and they will grab you and they will take the advantage and completely waste your research and completely waste your research papers into the cadmium. So it's better to wait and see what specific results you are getting from the publisher's side. Now, why to publish? Why the people want to publish? There are different criteria for publications. Number of people having different perspective. Some people, like about 80% authors published with a view to career progression and personal development. They want to reach to their career goal. They want to get the personal development in the research field. So almost 80% people or the 80% researchers, authors are publishing to get their career goal and to get personal development. 85% published for their self-esteem and to receive internal and external recognition in their college and universities. They want to develop themselves. They want to achieve to the self-esteem of their work. And they want their recognition in the world of researchers. So they are publishing. 70% wanted to share their knowledge and experience. 70% authors just want to share their experiences related to the research field and the authorship and the knowledge, especially the students. Under this 70%, especially the students will come out, those who are pursuing their PhD program, their doctorate program, and some of the students, those who are doing their internship, and they did a lot of efforts in their PhD program and their internship, and now they want to publish their reports. They want to share their experiences, like they did some research in particular area related to particular industry, and they found out some results over there. So they want to inform about those results to the market, to the world, to the corporate sector. So they want to publish. So that category comes under 70%, and 70% are especially related to the research scholars, PhD scholars, and the internship students. 50% published for the company recognition and to promote their business. It is simply a paper generally published by the companies about their annual reports, their progress, their trend analysis, their profit and losses into the market. So these are the normal papers. These are not the research paper. It is based on their own data, which they collected from the previous years, and accordingly, they want to submit to the market. They want to show about the progress of their own company. So these are the 50% people, those who want to show the progress of their company, and this is not at all a research paper. How to select the right journal? Now the point comes out here, like how to select which journal is the right journal. So choosing a journal to publish is an investment decision. A good choice can enhance the impact of your work and your reputation. As as I told you, when we are writing a research paper, we are drafting each and every point of our research paper in so many days. Even when we are putting the headings, we took a lot of time for deciding that what will be the topic of our research paper, what will be the heading of our research paper. We spent sleepless nights for writing the research paper. So when we are doing a lot of efforts in writing a research paper, we need to find out that which journal is good for our research paper. Publishing is a kind of investment. If your report, if your research paper is good, and if you published your research paper in a wrong place or the wrong journal, you cannot get better results. Your whole research, your whole article is going to be waste. So if you really want to get good results, you need to find out that which journal is good for your research paper, where you can publish your research paper. So you need to find out proper publishers and their publication houses, and you need to find out in research market how long they are existing and what are their indexing, where they are indexed, and what are their criterias. So there are different criterias over there. Sometimes the researcher, sometimes the publication, open access publication. So in the open access publication, again, we have different categories like platinum open access and the gold open access. Now, some publication houses are not indexed in the Scopus, but still they are good. So factors to consider are relevant like readership, recent articles, communicated societies and internationality, likelihood of acceptance, circulation, time from submission to publication. Only what points you need to consider when you try to find out the proper journal for your article. So the first important point is what? You need to find out the readership of your article. What is the community who are going to read your articles? And are you able to communicate properly in your research or not? Whatever research you did in your laboratories, whatever results you find out in your labs, are you able to communicate those results and findings properly in your research paper or not? Is this your research paper communicating properly to the author, to the readers or not? The next point is what? About internationality. The journal where you want to publish your research paper, are they internationally recognized journals or not? You need to find out. Likelihood of acceptance means they are quarterly journals, they are monthly journals, they are half yearly journals or annually journal. Means when they are accepting the paper. They are accepting the papers in a quarterly basis, half yearly basis, annually basis. So if the journals are accepting the papers on an annual basis, so it is not recommended for the research scholars or the PhD scholars or the students or the early researchers to go for those journal which take at least 1 year to publish your research paper, or it will take 6 to 7 months to publish their research paper. Definitely, no doubt, these journals having a very high impact factors. But the point is what? They will take lot of time and those time will definitely kill your targets and your goal. So it's better to go for the journal where the acceptance rates are little bit high and they can publish the journal within a 3 to 4 months. What type of paper are you planning to write? Practice paper. This is again one of the most important point, that which kind of paper you are planning to write. You want to write an article, you want to write a research paper, or you want to write a case study, review, or viewpoint. All papers are different. All categories are different. So, for example, if the journal is not accepting the case study, and if you are sending your case study to the journal, it makes no sense. The point is what? They are not going to publish your case study, though your case study is good. You concluded so well. You have written so well. You communicated so good in your research. But the case study will not be published by the journal, those who are not publishing the case studies. So the point is what? It is an investment decision that you selected a particular journal, but you forget to check that what is the criteria of your journal. If your journal is not publishing the case study, then sending a case study makes no sense. Now, measuring the quality of the journal, this is another point and one of the most important point, that it is based on the ranking system. So, like we have categories like Scopus, Web of Science, ABDC, and we need to check the citation scores of the journal. We need to check high index of the journal. We have to check that the journals are listed in the Google Scholars or Scopus Index or Web of Science, or what are the points over. So there are many categories. There are many views which you can check while you are sending your research paper. Only checking that the journal is indexed in the Scopus or indexed in the Web of Science is not enough. You need to check that journals cite scores also. Sometimes the papers are published in the Scopus indexed journal, but the papers are not getting any citation scores. So if the papers or journals are not getting any citation, definitely those journals will be kick out from the Scopus list very soon. So you need to check under which category you are sending. You need to check the quality of your Scopus indexed journals, like it is Q3, Q4, Q1, or Q2. All the categories you need to check. You need to cross verify your journals from the Shimago site also, that they are listed in the Shimago or not, or Shimago is recognizing it or not, because Scopus is very rigorous, and in every 3 months, Scopus is issuing their list of adding and deleting the journals. In that case, when you are planning to write a research paper, for example, you decided to write a research paper now. You selected one topic to write a research paper, and you are writing a research paper. It will take 3 to 4 months, and you already did all your uh, efforts to find out the journal where you want to publish. You check all the criteria. But the point is what? When you are going to send your paper to the journal, you didn't check that this journal is still existing in the Scopus or Web of Science or not. So that is the point you need to check. When you are sending your research paper to any journal, you need to check that this journal is still in the Scopus list or not. So how to check that this journal is still in the Scopus list or not? I will show you the live examples later on. Now come to the next point, like how to find out the right journal for your papers, for your research papers. Like for example, journalguide.com or the journal suggester. I can show you some examples here. I can go to the Google and I can show you the journal suggester or the journal finder. So you can get idea like how to find out a specific journal related to your field or your area of studies. So for example, journal finder, I need to go to the journal finder, and all journals, they have their own journal finders. Like if you want to go and check the Springer, or if you want to go for the Taylor and Francis, or if you want to go for Emerald, or if you want to go for the Sage publication, they have their own journal suggester. So first you need to decide that under which publisher you want to publish your research paper. This is the first thing. The second thing is what? You need to go to the journal suggester of that specific publisher and try to find out that how to find the journal. So for example, I can write here effect of COVID-19 in stock markets of India. Assume that this is the title of my research paper, and I can write the abstract here like Bombay Stock Exchange showing great fall in index range. The stock market showing portfolio arrangements. Like assume that anything you can write as an abstract in it. And then subject area. So click here, subject area, like my subject area is business management. I will click here business management and then click the button suggest journal. When I'm going to click it, I can find these kind of journals. You can see here what is written here. Financial market and portfolio management. Yes, it is the part. My research study is a part of this area. It can go for the future business journal also. And like again, like out of 100 journal, they can abstract 20 to 30 journal. But those 20 to 30 journal, again, you need to check that which specific journal is related to your area of study. So for example, they selected like 10 to 12 or 20 journal. And after that, I got, okay, my article is related to the financial market and portfolio management. I will click here and I can see it will take 11 days for the first decision. So if I will submit my manuscript in this journal, it will take at least 11 days for the first decision. If I will not be able to receive a decision up to 15 days, then definitely we need to write an email to the editor-in-chief of this journal that we are not getting any feedback from your side and what is the position of my research paper. So in that case, you can get the idea and you can check here. It is completely written that what is the aim and scope of this research journal. The journal Financial Market and Portfolio Management invites submission of original research articles in all areas of finance, especially in but not limited to financial markets and portfolio choices. So this journal is completely related to the topic which I have written in the journal finders. So through that, you can get the idea how to find out the specific journal related to your specific field. Now, after that, there are some other criteria also. This is not the only criteria to find out that which journal is suitable for your research paper. You can go to your own reference list. So whenever we are writing a research papers, we need to put some references in our research paper. And through those references, we can go to the reference list where we can publish the research paper. Because definitely we are taking the references for only from those research papers which are writing the topics related to my research field. So in that case, you can use the reference list for finding out the specific journal related to your subject area. And the last is publisher's website. So you can directly go to the publisher website and check that how many journals are listed under that publisher websites and what criteria are there. Are they going to accept the case studies, or they are going to accept the viewpoints, or they are going to accept the articles or the research papers? Like for example, your paper is related to the marketing and you find out number of journals related to the marketing, but your paper is not a research paper. You have written an article and you want to publish this article in a marketing. So marketing is a very big stream, very big area. Under the marketing, which area you want to publish? You want to publish to the advertisement marketing, you want to publish your research paper under the sales or the retail marketing or the distributed channel or the supply chain or the logistic, like under which category you want to publish. Then again you need to check those categories are publishing what. Are they publishing the research papers or the articles or the case studies or the viewpoint? So it's a completely an investment decision, and once you publish your research paper in a right journal at a right time, definitely it will pay a lot to your career. It will enhance and it will give the boom in your CV. It will show a good effects in your CV. So writing, this is well known, writing is an art, but publishing is a business. So you need to decide where you need to publish your paper, but before deciding where you want to publish your research paper, you need to focus on those criteria. You need to go to these website. I already showed you how to go to the journal suggester and the finder. And if you cannot be able to segregate over there and you cannot conclude over there, then you can use your own reference list. And finally, you can go to the publisher's website where you can find different journals related to your specific area. And then again, you need to go to the specific journal about the aim and scope of the journal, that what they are publishing. Are they publishing the specific topics or the same case studies in their journal or not? So through these things, you can identify the criteria and the help. These are the help when we are going to find out the right journal for our articles and for our research papers. Now, the next point is what? Research papers got rejected. Why? Most of the time, your research papers, you have beautifully written your research paper. You drafted so well. You put all your efforts. Whatever research you did in your laboratories and your lab, it is all proved. And you communicated so well in your research paper. You found a very good journal specific related to your research paper, but still your research paper got rejected. So what was the reason? Why? We did a lot of efforts for finding out the journal. We got a good journal also. We got a specific area and scope of studies are same. We communicated properly in our research paper. We explained so well in our research paper, but still my research paper rejected. So what was the reason? We need to find out those reasons. Don't get disheartened. Maybe it is not because of your research. Maybe it is not because of your authorship. There are multiple reasons behind it. So instead of changing your research paper or try to make amendments in your research paper, try to find out these points also. So the first point is what? Not following the instructions, author guidelines. Author guidelines means what? All journals, they have their own author guidelines. And in the author guidelines, it is completely clearly written that how to submit the research paper and how to write your research paper. Like for example, if you are writing a research paper in IEEE, their author guidelines are different. If you are writing a research paper for the Indus Science Index, then again, their author guidelines are different. Even the same publisher, the publisher is same, and this is very common question. Most of the early researchers, they are asking this question is very common, that the same publisher, but under the publisher, number of journals are there, and in all journals they have different guidelines for the author. Why it is so? If it is under the same publisher, then why different guidelines for the author? The point is what? Sometimes the publishers want to make a different guidelines for each and every different journals under them. The reason is what? Ethics says that when you submit your research paper, you submit your research paper in a one journal at a time, and you must wait for the result. Once you receive a result, and in case if they decline, then you can start a process for the another journal. You can go for the another journal. But in journal, in reality, these things are not applicable. People are in rush. They don't want to wait. And most of the time, they are not following the publication ethics. What they said, they are sending their research paper in a multiple journal. And when they are sending their research papers in a multiple journal, then in that case, the publishers can identify, means there are different ways to identify, but this is one of the way for the publisher that they can identify it clearly that this author already sent this paper in number of journal, because this author is not following the author guidelines. So he wrote a paper and he sent the paper according to one journal. He prepared the paper according to one journal, and he keeps sending to here and there in all journals. So this is the one way for the publishers to find out that the author has not following the guidelines because he is in a rush and he want to publish his research paper in multiple journals. Sometimes it is inappropriate to the journal scope. This is what, as I told you, that writing a case study, like if you are writing a case study, but if the journal is not accepting the case study, it does not make sense. So the point is what? If you are writing a case study specific related to the area, you need to send the case study to the journal, those who are accepting only the case study. If you are writing a case study and sending to the case study to the journal, which publishing only the research paper, empirical research paper, and you are sending your case study, again, your paper will get rejected. So the point you can say that I have written so beautiful case study. I did a lot of efforts in writing a case study. I proved it. It's an original point, original thesis, but still it is rejected from the publisher. So the point is clear that your paper or your case study is not going to belong to the journal scope. So they will not accept it. Next point is what? Problem with quality. Inappropriate methodology, not reasonably rigorous. Problem with quality means what? This point I already discussed previously, that if you are writing your research paper, you need to focus more about the abstract and the methodology, and finally your conclusion. So when we are writing a research paper, especially the abstract, we need to write the abstract in this manner. Then when the editor-in-chief will get the research paper, when he receives the research paper, he can get the idea that what exactly you want to prove in your research, what you want to communicate. Because if your abstract is not clear, if your key points are not clear, right, in your research, in your abstract, then he cannot be able to conclude. So instead of wasting his time for reading your 10 to 20 pages of your research paper, he will definitely reject it. So writing an abstract is completely an art, because in the whole research paper, you are trying to prove whatever you did in your laboratories. But when we are writing the abstract, we are not proving anything. In the abstract, we are creating an audience, we are creating a readership, like we are creating a curiosity in our abstract that the readers will attract and they will read your full research paper. So when you are designing your research paper, yes, I can use the word designing the research paper. So when you are designing your research paper, you need to design your abstract in that manner that it will be eye-catchy. Means it will create a curiosity in the mind of the readers to read your whole research paper. So that is the point you need to focus when you are writing your research abstract. Insufficient contribution to the field. Insufficient contribution to the field means what? As I told you, publishers are completely businessmen. They are only looking out for their profits into the business. And they know that the readership of the research articles and the research paper. So if your article or your research paper is not going to contribute something extra in a specific field, something new, innovative, something new ideas in the specific field, they will not accept it. Like, for example, you are writing a research paper in agrobot, means robots in the agricultural field. If you are writing a research paper, in that paper you mention about that you prepare a robots which are going for harvesting and which are going for pesticide, and it is used for the agricultural land. So what is new in it? There are so many researchers, those who are writing about the agrobot. What is new in your agrobot? So you need to prove in your research that your agrobot is different from the other agrobots. So whatever research so far done, your research is completely different. Your research is the enhanced version. Your research is the updated version. And how to get this one? This point you can get from your literature review. So when you are writing your research paper, you need to focus in your literature review also. Because in your literature review, you will find the gap of study. Gap of study means the scientist already did research in a particular field, and specifically some points are still pending which are not yet proved, and you are trying to prove those things through your research in your research paper. So this will create automatically a curiosity in the mind of the readers, and definitely it will contribute into the research field. Sometimes your contribution is good, but the other authors written the research paper and their ideas are contributing more in the research field. So definitely the publishers will select their papers instead of yours. So don't get disheartened. That don't feel that your paper is not good. Your paper is good, but here this is the competitive era, and it is a competitive, means it's a cutthroat competition. And fortunately or unfortunately, we can find these kind of competitions in academics and the research field also. So every now and then, the authors and the researchers are also trying to prove their results. Sometimes they are using the wrong way also to proving their research, but that is not the good. So have patience, keep patience, and see that the other authors, what they are writing, how they are focusing, how they are using the literature reviews in their research paper, how they are drafting their abstract, how they are going to conclude their research. These are the points you need to focus, and you need to keep intact all those things in your research paper. So if your research paper is not going to contribute something new in that specific field, the publisher will not accept your research paper, though your research papers are good. So you need to put some new things. Like, for example, I am the finance faculty, and if I will write the old traditional finance, the journals will not accept my paper because nothing new in it. There is nothing new contributing into the field. But if I will write some new methodology or some new tools which can be used for as a financial blockchain or fintech programs, though fintech and blockchains are also very common, but if I can use some specific topic related to the blockchain, related to the stock market, definitely the publishers will accept the paper. So in your paper, what you are contributing, that is important point. And how your contribution is different from the previous one. And how your contribution will give the industry enhancement. Because whatever the researchers are doing, it is going ultimately to the corporate sector. So these things you need to keep in your mind. And these are the reasons for the rejections also. Now come to the next part of your point, like publication, that is called research ethics. Though the word ethics is not small, it covers a lot of things and it is needed. But the point is what, like up to what level the authors are following the research ethics. So the point is what, research ethic is not only related to the authors, means there are 4 parties involved in the research field: authors, reviewers, editors, and publishers. And ethics is not only a part related to the authors, ethics related to the reviewers, ethics related to the editors, ethics related to the publishers also. There are many publishers, those who are dubious. They are taking unnecessary money. They are the cloned and predatory journals. I can show you live example that who are the cloned and who are the predatory journal in my later slides. And you can identify that they are charging money because of no reasons. They are exploiting the early researchers. They're exploiting the talent into the market. The next is what? Reviewers. Sometimes, as a reviewer, we know that it is our responsibility when we receive the research paper, we need to finish within a 1 to 2 to 3, maximum 3 to 4 weeks. But generally, sometimes what happens, the reviewers are biased and they are not giving their concrete results. And sometimes they are taking a lot of time to provide their feedbacks. So this is against the ethics of the publication. As a reviewer, you enter into the journal, you requested to the journal to add you as a reviewer. So this is entirely your responsibility. When you receive the research paper, you finish your task as soon as possible. The next point related to the editors also. Editors and editor-in-chief, sometimes instead of checking by themselves, they distributed their tasks to their subordinates. And again, the subordinates are asking money from the authors for no reason. Like they are promising to the authors that if you will pay us money, I can publish your paper within a 24 hours. So these ethics, this research ethic is not only a criteria or not only a responsibility of authors to follow. It is the responsibility as a reviewer you need to follow. If you are a publisher, then again you need to follow the ethics. And if you are a editors, you need to follow the ethics. Now we need to move to the next slide, like what is publication ethics? For finding out specifically, this is the site like publicationethics.org. And in this publicationethics.org, I will show you some important points here. Like we can go, if you want to know that what exactly the publication ethics we need to follow. So you need to go to the website and your website address is this, like publicationethics.org. You can go to the Google and this is completely free website. You can write here publicationethics.org. You can click here. That is called COPE, Committee on Publication Ethics. And once you will click here, you will get the idea about like what you need to do, what you need not to do. What is publication ethics? What is the point of integrity? How to follow the integrity? What is the authorship, right? You can do some courses here, online courses here. You can see there are some online courses, guidelines here. We can go for here. Membership, e-learning, for example, I did some courses online from the COPE itself. This is the certificate programs here. You can select any of the courses, like what is reviewer misconduct, what is selective reporting, what is plagiarism, introduction to publication ethics, right? Falsification, fabrication. If you want to understand what is fabrication, what is falsification, means you are writing something in your research paper, but sometimes you are not doing things intentionally. You did something unintentionally. So how to find out that the things which you did in your research paper, which is against the ethical point of view, you can go to the website and you can check that what is plagiarism and under which category of plagiarism your paper belongs. What is falsification, and is this any point you have written the falsification or the fabrication of the truth in your research paper? So you can do all these courses and you can find out over there like whether it is correct or not. So you can use this website for finding out. Some of the points I can discuss here, that as a publication ethics, like do seek agreement between the authors. Like if there are multiple authors in your research paper, so first you need to take a permission from each author that you want to publish a paper and their name will be there. Sometimes what happens, the authors are not contributing their part in the research paper, but they have a goodwill into the market, and some early researchers want to take the advantage of their goodwill. So they ask, can I put your name under my research paper? No. You need to check, you need to take a proper permission from the authors that you are going to use their authorship. So there must be a agreement between the authors, and this agreement must be in the written form. Disclose any conflict of interest. Any conflict of interest means what? In case if it is related to your authorship, or if it is related to your recognition, or if it is related to your designation, or if it is related to your industry, your organization. Like for example, when you have written a research paper, you are working in a specific organization, and when the paper is about to publish, you change the organization, you join some another college or university. So you need to disclose all the facts when you are going to publish your research paper. And authors or editors are supported by the Committee of Publication Ethics. Like the publishers are going to be supported by the COPE. They have their securities, they have their inspectors, those who are checking the criteria of publication. They are checking the points, they are checking the from the point of view of authors, and they are checking from the point of view of the publishers also, and they will find out that what falsifications and fabrications you did in the research paper. Now, the next point comes, what not to do. Don't submit to more than one journal at once. This point I already covered before, that publication ethics says that when we submit the research paper in a particular journal, we need to wait. We have to wait. Instead of waiting, what the early researchers are doing, they keep sending their research papers from multiple journals because they don't want to wait. They want to get result fast. They are in rush. But this is against publication ethics. When you submitted your research paper in a specific journal, you have to wait. You need to find out the time. You have to give proper time to the publishers or the journal to check the peer review, to check the authenticity and plagiarism of your paper. Give some time to them, because if you want to get a right result, if you want to get a long-term results for your research paper, then definitely you have to put some extra efforts, and then extra efforts included patience. Now, don't self-plagiarize. Most of the students and the research scholars, they are asking, what is this self-plagiarize, doctor? This paper is written by me. And if I'm taking some part of this paper, this is my paper. And if I'm taking some part of my research paper in writing my another research paper, how come it is plagiarism? This is originally my idea. So the point is this, like, true that you have written this paper and you published your paper. But now when you are writing your another research paper, you cannot take that part again in your another research paper. That is called self-plagiarism. If you want to put that part, you can say it's an extended research. Like you did some research and you want to put some extra points in your research, you want to extend your research, that is called extension of your research or the extended form of your research. Or if you are taking in a small part of your research in another research paper, then you need to notify it properly. You need to write it, reference it properly. So that is important point you need to mention over there. The next point is about clear permission to publish interviews and case study. Sometimes authors and researchers are thinking that let us publish research paper or let us send our research paper to the journal, and once I will receive the acceptance from the journal, then I will disclose to the interviewees that whatever interview I have taken earlier, I published it, right? Or whatever case I prepared on your story, I published it. No, it is against the publication ethics. A publication ethics says that before going to start the first process of your publication, you need to take a clear written permission from the interviewees and the person to whose case study you are putting in your research. So the point is what? If you are hiding the facts now, if you are concealing the facts and later on you decided that you will disclose it, that is against publication ethics. It is not publication ethics. So you need to focus those points, that what to do and what not to do when we are sending our research paper. Because if you want to get a better results, long-term results of your research and your publication, then you have to follow the publication ethics. Because in the later stage, if the publication house will find out that you have not taken any clear permission from the interviewees or some other points, or there must be some conflict or gap, then you will be in problem. You will be in trouble and they will withdraw your paper and it is completely banned on your study. So why you are wasting your time and energy? It's better to make it for a long time process and get the results. Now, the next point comes out, what is plagiarism and copyright here? Now, if I'm talking about plagiarism and copyright, plagiarism is the act of taking someone else's work and passing it off as your own, considered fraud. Nowadays, all people know about the plagiarism. Plagiarism is very common, and nowadays, intentionally, people are not going to involved in the plagiarism because there are many software tools are available which can easily identify the percentage of plagiarism. But sometimes the plagiarism is because of unintentional, means you are not doing something intentionally, but the plagiarism is showing in your research paper. So you need to find out that what is the reason of plagiarism. This is the reason, like you check your research paper in a particular website and you find out there is no plagiarism in your research paper, and you need to submit your research paper in a particular journal, but you forget to complete delete of your research paper from that site, then it will show the plagiarism when you are going to submit your research paper to a journal. So there are some websites here. If you want to write an address, you can write here, that is www.authenticate.com, where you can check the plagiarism of your research paper, that what percentage of plagiarism is there. Ideally, it should not be more than 5 to 7%. Like in your plagiarism, the good journals, those who are indexed in Scopus or ABDC or Web of Science, they said it should not be more than 5 to 7%. So you try to focus that your journal or your article must not be copied more than 5 to 7%. If you want to know about more about that, what is plagiarism, what comes under plagiarism, what is self-plagiarism, what are the percentage of maximum plagiarism, so you can go to the website, that is www.plagiarism.org. You can go to this website and you can check like what are the things comes under plagiarism, what is falsification, what is fabrication of the fact, right? These things you can check and you can remove these things from your research paper to make it clean and good research paper. Now come to the next point, that is copyright. What is this copyright? Copyright is also important. As the author, you need to ensure that you get permission to use the content you have not created. To avoid delays, this should be done before you submit your work. So the point is what? When you are taking some points from other research, then you need to reference it properly. You need to reference those research in your research paper. First thing. The second thing is what? The good journals, if they are not predatory and the cloned journal, they will send you the copyright form, which you need to fill manually and sign it properly and send it to back. And you need to mention it clearly over there that this is completely your original idea and this is your original research paper. And why they ask to sign this copyright agreement? Because in case in future, if any other author is going to ask them that this is his or her idea, which was published under some other author's name, so they can show this copyright act and you can sort out these issues. So copyright is mandatory and it is generally sent by this copyright form from the publisher's point of view. They will send the journals and the publishers, they are sending the copyright forms to the authors and they need to fill it and they need to sign it and send it back to the journals. So they can keep it as a record and one copy they will provide to you also. Now, the second part of the research, that is predatory and cloned journal. So the point from the researcher point of view, it is clear that what to do, what not to do, how to identify the research journal, which journal is suitable for your research, and what is falsification, what is fabrication, what is plagiarism, what is copyright. As a researcher point of view, things are clear. Now we need to move to the next part of the story, that is predatory and cloned journal. How to identify that who are the predatory and who are the cloned journal in research field. So let me explain first what is cloned journal. Cloned journal web pages are a forgery of an authentic journal that takes advantage of the title and ISSN of legitimate publications. Unlike predatory journal, cloned journals are more likely to accept manuscript from authors since they have evolved to be a carbon copy of respected publications, included their domain name. What does it means here? Like the clone journals are the copied journal. Like they will take your the home page, they will take all the your address, home page, contact address, everything they will copied it, and they will start publishing the papers under their name. Means they are using your name, they are using your web page, they are using the front or the profile page of your journal for their publications, and they are the cloned one. I will show you the live examples later on. Let me discuss some points. Some of these forgeries aggressively pursue authors by sending them a modified email message announcing a false calls for paper in a recent issue of the journal. Authors may be misled into paying open access publication fees, believing that their work is going to be published in a prestigious journal by these solicitation. So what does it mean? Like sometimes these journals, like if you contact them one time, they will start contacting back to you 100 times. And it is not only one journal. If it's a whole series of clone journal, they all are brothers and they keep sending you the email and keep sending you the messages that we are going to publish the research paper, it's a special issue, we can publish within 24 hours, and they will use the wrong email ID. Generally, they are using the Gmail IDs. The point is what? If you are the original journal, then you need to use your journal email ID. Why you are using the Gmail ID? Why you are using the Yahoo email ID, because this is your personal, this is not official. So you need to find out those things in your when you are searching the journal, that they are the cloned or the predatory or the original journal. Now come to the next point. Who are the predatory journals? Predatory journals, predatory publishing is a called write-up only publishing or deceptive publishing. It is an exploitative publishing business model that involves charging publication fees to authors without checking articles for quality and legitimacy and without providing the author's editorial and publishing services that legitimate academic journals provide, whether open access or not. In that case, what happened? There are number of journals which are not using any peer review. Once you are publishing, once you are sending your research paper to them, and if they are the predatory journals, so predatory journals are basically not cloned one. Cloned journals are copying your web page, and they will use your web page for accepting and contacting to the authors. Predatory journals are basically the original journals, but when they enter into the market, at that time they were not predators. At that time they were clean. And when they indexed in the Scopus and Web of Science, and after a few years, they sold their soul and they start making a money by doing these kind of falsifications. So predatory journals are not cloned. Predatory journals are basically original journal which change their mind with the passage of time, and they start making a money. And how they are making a money? By through so many falsifications, accepting your articles without their purview area. Like for example, your article or your research paper is related to biochemistry or something related to the organic material, and the papers are going to be published by the mechanical engineering journal. Now what is the role of bio in the mechanical engineering, or what is the role of a stock market in the mechanical engineering? So the point is what? Your article is different and the purview area of the journal is different. But out of their purview area, if they are accepting your papers, it means this is the first indication, this is the red flag to identify that they can be a predatory. Because if their purview area is different and your article is different, your research paper purview area is different, and still the journal is accepting, it means there is something fishy at the bottom and they are not clean sheet. So you need to means this is the red flag for you, and you need to find out that whether they are the predators, cloned, or the right journal. So they can characterize as a predatory because the scholars are tricked into publishing with them despite the fact that some writers may be aware of the journal's poor quality or even fraud. New scholars from developing countries are said to be specifically at risk of being misled by predatory publishers. According to one study, 60% of publications published in a predatory journals earn no citation in the 5 years after they are published. So what happened? Sometimes author knows very well, and especially the authors, those who are the early researcher or those who are the research scholars, they want to get their PhD done, they want to finish their PhD, and they are not able to publish their research paper in a specific field, and they are in hurry. So they know that these are the predatory journals, but still they are keep sending their research paper in those predatory journal because their universities and colleges are not recognizing it properly. But the point is what? If your college and if your universities are going for the QS ranking, so in the QS ranking and the accreditation, they will check that the authors and the research guides or your research scholars or your faculties, where they are publishing. And if they are publishing the papers in the predatory and cloned journal, it will directly affect the QS ranking of your university. It will directly affect the accreditation of your universities and colleges. So this is not entirely the responsibility of the authors or the researchers. It is the responsibility of the research guides, faculties to check where your researchers are publishing the paper. Are they publishing in the right place or in the wrong place? So this is your responsibilities also. Most of time, what happened, the papers which are published in the predatory journals, they are not getting any citations. And up to 5 years, if the papers are not getting or the journals are not getting any citation, again, this is the red flag. It means that the journals are predatory because they are not getting any kind of citations up to 5 years. So these are the small things. I'm sure I'm explaining here, but these things I will show you directly through the websites where you can, from today onwards, whenever you are planning to publish your research paper, you can check by yourself that are they predatory, cloned, or correct journal. So there are two impact factors which are very common and which having a very high degree reputation into the market. That is your Scopus and the Clarivate analysis, that is your Web of Science. So Scopus and Web of Science is very common in our Middle East, and especially the researchers want to publish the papers in a Scopus indexed journal, because if you are going to publish your research paper in a Scopus indexed journal, it will gives more point to your appraisals, and it will enhance your CV visibility, and it will gives you more points in your career also. So now what points you need to consider, what points you need to remember when you are going to publish your research paper. Like, most fake and predatory cloned journals will not have any submission deadline. Means they are accepting research paper in 24 hours and 365 days. Whenever you want to publish, you can publish. You can send your research paper, they will accept your research paper. It is open 24/7. So if these kind of publishers you can find, if these kind of journals you will find, again, this is the red flag for you, because it is impossible that any journal is publishing in every month like 24 hours and all 7 days publication house is open. No, it is not like that. It is officially unacceptable. So these kind be a kind of alarming situation which you need to focus. They will always charge money and will give you early publication. I cannot say that the publication house or the journals, those who are asking the money, they are the predator and clone. No, there are many open access journals, they are asking the money. But again, you need to check specifically, all open access journals are not asking a money. If you are talking about the platinum open access journal, neither they are asking a money for the publication, nor they are asking a money if you are downloading a research paper. So platinum open access journal, they are not asking any money, but golden open access journals, they are asking a money. So the point is what, maybe they are the good, but you have to search, you need to do some research over there. You are doing a lot of research in your laboratories, in your research papers, in your drafting and writing your research paper, but you are doing no research in the journals and the publication. It is not correct. You need to pay attention over there also. So you need to find out that if the journal is asking money, so why they are asking money, for what reason they are asking money, it is a peer reviewed journal or not, or it is a camera proof reading over there or not. So there are so many things you need to check. There is no harm to give money, but what to do, how to do, when to do, where to do, these things you need to check from your side. The next point is what? Most of them will be having multiple journals doing the same job. So if they are the predatory and clone journal, this is their lobby, and they all are brothers. They all are brothers and sisters, and they are involved in the same category. So if one journal is approaching you, at the same time, the 2 and 3 other journals will approach you, that I can publish your paper within a 10 days, I can publish your paper within 24 hours. It means that it is here and there, they are just going to find out the ways to hold you. to grab you. They also use cloned website with the same logo and the ISN number. So predatory and cloned journals will use the stamp and the ISN and the logos also of Web of Science and the Scopus. So if you will check the website and you will find that the Scopus is written, Web of Science is written, their logos are there, DOI is there. No, again, you have to do some efforts to check that their DOI is working or not, their Scopus indexing is there or not, right? So you need to focus those points when you are trying to find out the real one, that they are the predator clone or the real one. They have fake stamps of the Scopus or the Web of Science indexing. This is what I already explained you, that not only they are taking the name of Scopus and Web of Science, but also they are taking the stamps of Scopus and Web of Science. And these all are fake stamps. Google indexing is very easy. There is no science involved in it, and it is not useful anywhere in academics, but it gives you more citation. So, for example, you published a paper in a predatory and cloned journal, so automatically it will come to the Google Scholar. And you can say that my paper is already accepted by the Google indexing and my paper is reflecting into the Google Scholar. Google Scholar is not involved any kind of science. There is no science, there is no algorithm involved in your Google Scholar. Google Scholar directly take the paper from the journals and they are not checking the websites and the predatory and the clone site. In that case, what will happen? Your papers, for example, you published your paper in a clone and predatory journal and it automatically comes to the Google indexing, and someone else who has written very nice, very good research paper, but he took a reference of your paper which published in the predatory journal and you got the citation, score, but because of that reason that your paper is published in the predatory journal or the cloned journal and that journal is indexed by the Google Scholar and someone else cited your research paper, so his or her research paper is completely going to be spoiled. And in that case, what will happen? That one rotten apple is going to destroy the whole fruit basket because of wrong indexing. Because of your paper, might be possible that your paper is good and you published your paper in a predatory journal, not intentionally, unintentionally, and you are not aware about it, but because of someone else cited your research paper, he got wrong reference and his paper will not be accepted by the journal where he want to send. So specifically, if he got the citation, if he took references of your paper and if he sent the paper in a reputed journal like Springer, Emerald, ABDC or somewhere else, Sage Publication or Taylor and Francis, what will happen? They will check the citation, they will check the referencing, and because of referencing, they will reject their paper. So it is not a problem in his research paper. It is not a problem in his drafting and crafting of the research paper and writing the abstract and the conclusions and the finding. It happened because of wrong referencing. And wrong referencing means what? The referencing of the predatory journal. So because of your journal, because of your research paper, which published under the predatory one, the other researchers affected and they will be out from their research field and their research paper completely waste. Now the next point is what? Always see the Scopus data before submitting to any journal. Like for example, if you want to submit your research paper, you need to check the Scopus data because as I told you, the Scopus is very rigorous and every 3 months, the Scopus keep editing their research data. Like they added some new journals, they're removing some journals, they are keeping some journals in the hazard and so many things. So in that case, you need to keep check again and again that that journal is still in the Scopus database or not. In case if the journal is not in the Scopus database, like when you plan to write the research paper, at that time the journal was in a Scopus database. But now when you are trying to publish your research paper, that journal is out from the Scopus, then it is necessary not to send your paper in that journal, because that journal is no more in the Scopus. So sending makes no sense. You will not get any result. Your research will be waste of money and time and energy. So no need to send your paper to the journal which are no more in the Scopus database. Always check Web of Science indexing also. I will show you how to check the Web of Science also. So you can check Scopus and Web of Science. Always check the making of the website. There will be no contact details of the chief editor or less they will fake people. If it is open access journal, look for DOJ stamp, and the journal must give you the digital object identifier number, that is DOI. It is mandatory, it is necessary that the journal will provide you the DOI number. And DOI number, you need to check that DOI number is the working DOI number or not. If the DOI number is not working, it means that they are the predatory journal. You need to go to the website of the journal and check the other research papers DOI and randomly check that these DOIs are working or not. In case if the DOIs are not working to the published papers, then definitely they will be the predatory one, and no need to send your research paper in that particular journal. Most renowned journals are now integrating to the ORCID ID with research publications. So the point is what? Now the journals like Taylor and Francis and your Emerald, Sage publications, these Springers and Inder Science also, they are asking for the ORCID ID. So for all the research authors, it is mandatory that we need to prepare the ORCID ID, and we need to club this ORCID ID. We need to provide, this is Roman numbers in your ORCID ID. This is the identification number which will remain with you in your whole research journey, in your whole academic journey. So you need to prepare, this is the free site where you can log in and you can create your ORCID ID. You can attach the ORCID ID through your Gmail account, and you need to provide this ORCID ID to the publishers or the journal, those reputed journals, because they clubbed it together. And once they publish the research paper in their website and in their journal, it automatically comes to your ORCID ID, where the other researchers and the other people can check your work and your the point, like what you are publishing, under which topic you are writing your research papers. Now, most of the fake and predatory cloned journal will use Gmail accounts, not the official ones used for the journal. So this is the point you need to consider, that most of the time they are using the fake email IDs or the Gmail ID. Why you are using the Gmail ID? If you are the correct one, if there is nothing wrong in your publication house, in your journal, then why you are using the Gmail ID? Use your journal email ID. Use the publication email ID. And this is again the last point is what? Check, recheck details given on the website. Now I want to show you some direct websites which you can check and see that how the predatory journals are working. So I can take the first name, and this is what I just want to show you, like how you can check. Like I can take the first name, Adalya journal. I can show you, and you can find these journals. These journals are always at the top of the Google list. Whenever you will go to the Google list, you can find all predatory and cloned journals at the top. So I'm going to show you some examples of the cloned journal first, and after that I will show you some examples of the predatory journal. Let me explain first what is the cloned journal. I already explained you. Cloned journals are basically those journals, those who are copying your web address, those who are copying your the front page, your profile page. They're using all logos, IDs fake in their system, and they are attracting the researchers to publish the name. Now their articles. Now go to this Adalia journal. You can see here what is written here, Adalia journal, and the first how you can identify, look at here, impact factor is 5.3. Who has given this 5.3 impact factor? And it is mentioned that this journal is registered in the UGC care, right? Now you can go to the contact. You cannot find proper contact address. It is written editor.daliajournal@gmail account. This is what I told you, that they are using the Gmail and this is fake. So if it is Adalia, then why you are using the Gmail ID? Now you can go to the editorial board. Editorial board, any Tom, Dick, Harry name can be here. They can put any name, any country, and there is no proper address. So the point is what? If your editorial board members are there, you need to put all the information about the editorial board member, their belongingness, their full name, their address, their pictures, right? Their area of specialities. You need to focus over there, but they are not writing here. So this is the another point. The second point which you can check here, that this can be a cloned journal. Now we need to go to the next one, that is your call for papers. Now you can go to the call for papers, scope of paper. You can see what is mentioned here: science, engineering and technology, arts, social science, humanities, management, agriculture, pharmacy, urban, architecture, means everything you can find here. How come it is? The journal cannot be a multidisciplinary. The journal can be a interdisciplinary, but journal cannot be a multidisciplinary. There is a thin line of difference between interdisciplinary and the multidisciplinary. So the point is what? If the journal is multidisciplinary, again it is a cloned and the predatory. It cannot be come under. Now you can see indexing, all kind of indexing they are showing. This is again the fake. You know the logo, as I told you, the stamp they are going to use here, like Google Scholar, DOI, Site Factor. DOI, what is this DOI? DOI is a rating, your number, right? Digital Object Identifier. It is not indexing at all, but they mention here. Now it is mentioned in the journal that this journal is listed in Scopus. Now what we need to do? We need to go to the Scopus website and check. No, it is mentioned in the Web of Science. It is mentioned in the website of Adalia that this journal is mentioned, this journal is listed in the Web of Science. So how to go to the Web of Science indexing? You just type mjl.clarivate.com. This is the Web of Science indexing site, which is mjl.clarivate.com. You can click here. You can log in this with your Google ID. You can create this one by your Google ID. I have already created. And I will write the name here, Adalia Journal, Adalia, and I will start searching it from here. Now we will check what is going to be happen. See, you can see and you can check what is written here. Adalia Journal, the Web of Science, the area, the purview area is art, humanities, art and humanities. It is not related to pharmacy. It is not related to agriculture. It is not related to biochemistry. Its a purview area is art and humanities. Yes, Adalia is listed in the Web of Science, but which Adalia? Now you can see the Adalia Journal is the Turkish language. It is not in the English language. It is in the Turkey. This is Turkish language and the Turkish journal. Now you can go to the view profile page. When you click the view profile page, you can find the visit site. Go to the visit site. Once you will click the visit site, you can see the web page of Adalia. This is the original Adalia. This is the original Adalia. But which Adalia you found? You found the Adalia, this one. But this is not the original. This is the cloned Adalia. Yes, Adalia Journal is listed in the Web of Science, but what is the original page of the Adalia? This is the Adalia original page, and it is in Turkish language. It is not in English language, it is in Turkish language. So you need to check the purview area. You need to check through the indexing also that this journal is actually there or not. So Adalia, which we found in the Google website, that is cloned one. But this Adalia is a original one. Now we can move to some more journal. I can give you some more cloned journal example. Next, I can go with OT, OT research paper and research journal, and it is mentioned in the OT that this journal is indexed in Scopus. Now see, this is again fake, and you can see what is fake here. It is mentioned that it is a multidisciplinary journal. How come it is multidisciplinary? And again, they are using the gmail.com. Now go to the contact. You can go to the contact. There is nothing. They are asking to you to send your name, your email, your subject areas, and your messages. Means they are not providing their informations. Go to the editorial board. What is this editorial board? Again, all fake names are there. Most of the time, the names which are mentioned by these predatory cloned journal, these people not aware about it, that their names are misused by these journals. In that case, you need to fit some Google alerts. So in that case, if they are going to use your names in a fake form, you can get the notification and you can got him. Now go to the indexing. We can go to the indexing. Now this is again DOI, REF. REF is not an indexing site. This is different. And they mentioned that this is indexed in the Scopus. And for calls of paper, now you can see the processing charges. We can go to the processing charges. We can see what they're asking. 3,000 processing charges. Again, you need to fill this $100 online publication charges. They will provide e-certificate. Okay. Now we can go to the Scopus website, and this is very easy how to go to the Scopus website, www.scopus.com. It is again free website. You can go to the Scopus and check that whether this journal is listed in the Scopus website or not. So you need to go to the Scopus website by typing www.scopus.com. And we can check through the source homepage like about this OTOT journal. So we can click view journal ranking. Here you can see subject areas are given: title, publisher, ISSN number. So for example, this is the title I want to put. I can put OTOT journal. Yes, OTOT journal is there in the Scopus. We can see, yes, it is listed in the Scopus. That is true. Now we need to check the authenticity that this is the same. Now you can see what is the purview area of OTOT journal: art and humanities, social sciences, philosophy, cultural studies. So the purview area of OTOT journal is art and humanities. It is not accepting business management or bioscience or anything else, right? So this is again, you need to check here. Now you need to go to the source homepage. When you click the source homepage, you can check the original website. See, this is completely different. You can see this is different and it is written in different language. It is not in English language. So what does it mean? Again, the OTOT journal which we saw in the Google, it was a cloned journal. And this is the original. Yes, true. The OTOT journal is in the Scopus. It is listed in Scopus, but this is the original website of the OTOT journal. So in this way, you can check the clone one. We can go some more journal. I can give you these ideas. So the next time when you are going to search your journal, you can check the validity of your journal also. You can check the journals are predators or the clone. Next, we can go some more like Gorteria journal. I did a lot of research in finding out the journal, so it is already feeded in my system. I can search it very fast because it's not a new. I also trapped in this field, and in the starting career, when I tried to publish the paper, so my papers published in the wrong places. I tried so many times to withdraw those papers, but they are not withdrawing my papers. So I removed those papers from my CV. And because of those experience, I got that what are the predatories and what are the cloned journals, and I am taking a lot of care now when I am sending my research paper. So this is not a, you can see. Now you can see here what is mentioned here: Science Citation Index Expanded Scopus Web of Science. Means this journal is listed in Web of Science and Scopus both. Now again, we need to check authenticity. Go to the contact, click the contact address. Again, the contact address, again, they're asking about your email ID, your name, your paper ID and all that. Then we need to click the editorial board. Again, all names are there, but without any information. Then submission guidelines. Submission guidelines, they mention like how to publish, how to submit, and no informations are given properly. Now we need to find out this Goteria journal to the Scopus website. We need to go again. We can write www.scopus.com and you can go to the Scopus website. In the Scopus website, go to the view journal ranking and you can write here the name of the journal, Goteria. This is the Goteria journal and you can click find sources. Yes, it is in the Scopus. Now let us check. So this journal from 1988 to 2020, and this is from the Netherlands. And this journal purview area is agriculture and biological science, that is plant science. And we need to go to the source homepage. And in the source homepage, you can see what is exactly this journal. So this is in Dutch language. It is not in English. This journal in the Dutch language, this journal is from the Netherlands, and it is not at all related to the journal which we found in the Google website. So again, this is the cloned journal, the journal which we found in the Google website, that was the cloned one, and this is the original one. Now you can ask how to check the Scopus database. So for example, you are here in the Scopus and you are checking the journal. How to get the Scopus database? You can go to the content coverage. You can click this content coverage, and when you will click this content coverage, you can go down, scroll down, go down to the page. Here, see, download the source title list. So you can download the source title list, and once you will download, because it's a very heavy file and it will take time to download, and I have already downloaded it before, so I can show you that how this Scopus database looks like. This Scopus database, they are publishing in every, they are revealing in every 3 months, and this is very rigorous style of Scopus. They keep adding the journal, delisting the journal, they are putting some journal in the hazard also. So this is the point when I was discussing, I told you, when you are planning to publish your research paper, when you are trying to send your research paper, at that time you need to download this file and check that journal is there or not. So for example, you can see here the Scopus source October 2020, accepted titles, discontinued titles, serial conferences, right? All informations are there. So you can go to the discontinued and you can see that which journals are in the radar. You can see here this journal, like this journal is in the radar in 2018, and still it is in the radar. So you can see the volume, the year is 2018 and the volume of 63 and issue 6. It is not necessary the whole journal is in the radar. Maybe the specific issue and the volume. What was the reason? Radar means what? That journal is not completely rejected from the Scopus database. They are keeping eyes on that journal, and they are giving warning to that journal that your area, your purview area is different, and you are accepting the research paper from the different field. So you need to stop this practice, because your purview area is agriculture and you are accepting the paper from the stock market. It is completely unacceptable, And if you will continue this practice in future, we will remove you from the Scopus database. So there are publication concerns. So in that way, you can check here that the journal which you are deciding to send your paper, you can check in the Scopus database, and accordingly you can take your decisions. So this is what I just want to tell you, that if you want to take any decision while you are going to send your research paper, you need to check it. Now I have more example, but before going to proceed with the cloned journal, because now we have a shortage of time and we already done a lot. So I will show you some more example related to the predatory one. There are many cloned journal, but now I want to discuss at least one predatory journal, how to identify that this is the predatory page. As again, I will tell you, predatory journals are not cloned journals, they are original journals. But once they enter into the Scopus indexing and the Web of Science, at that time they are not predators. But after a period of time, when they feel like to earn more and more money, right, they start selling their soul and they become predators. Now you can take this example, Journal of Critical Review. When we will click this Journal of Critical Review, this is the original website. There is nothing changed. This journal is listed in the Scopus database also. I will show you very minute difference. And through minute difference, you can identify that this is the predator. So we can go to the scopus.com again and go to this one. So view journal ranking and you can write the name Journal of Critical Review. Journal of Critical Reviews, right? This journal. Now you can see, yes, it is listed in the Scopus. We can click this Journal of Critical Review. Once you will click, now see this journal is discontinued by the Scopus in 2020. What was the reason why the Scopus discontinued this journal in 2020? Because they are accepting the research paper which are out of their purview area. See, what is the purview area of the journal? Pharmacology, toxicology, pharmaceuticals, journal pharmacology, toxicology, pharmaceuticals, biochemistry, genetics, molecular biology, journal biochemistry. And now which papers they are accepting? See, they're accepting the management and social science and humanities. Now you can see what is the role of management science here. Why they are accepting the papers from the management and social science and the humanities. Though the purview area of this journal is different. Okay, we can go to the source homepage from the Scopus website. Okay, you can see this is the same website, same Scopus website, right? When we tried to find out in the Google, it was same. And when we tried in the Google, it's the same. There is nothing changed. This is called predatory journal. That their website is same, their profile picture is same, their profile page is same, everything is same. They are not cloned, they are not fake, but they are the predators. Means they initially were not predators, but after a few years, they started wrong practices and they accepted the papers which are not related to their field and they keep publishing. And because of that, the Scopus delisted them. Here also you can see, go to the contact, you can find there is again the Gmail address is there. This is not only one point that you got that they are accepting the management and social science paper. Some more examples we can see, Gmail account. Again, you can go to the editorial board, no information about the editorial board, right? Instruction to the authors, you can go online submission every time. They are accepting the papers 24 hours. See, They are mentioning here everything. You can see there is no proper, the system mentioned here. So these are the things which you can consider when you are publishing your papers, when you are sending your research papers. Sometimes the problem is not in your research. Sometimes the problem is not in your research paper, but it can be happen because of wrong journals and the predatory and the cloned journals, that they are going to spoil your whole research and the whole articles. So please keep eyes on those kind of things. Remember all those things when you are sending your research paper. Now the house is open for the question and answering session. I may request to Professor Atif to continue.